There's a lot of DJs out there who are interested in sponsorships, and maybe you're looking for a sponsor right now. But what are some of the things you need to think about when you approach a brand to sponsor you? Let's talk about that right now. Hey guys, what's going on? It's djTLM. You're watching djTLMtv. Time for a special tip video, and this one is about sponsorship and approaching brands to sponsor you. A sponsor can be very useful either for products, so if you're a DJ, maybe some new equipment, or a clothing sponsor to get you some nice clothes when you go out and perform. But of course, a sponsor can also be useful if you need an investor in a project, to invest in a project like an event. If you're organizing your own event, there's a lot of costs that come with that. And if you have an investor, you don't have to pay everything out of your own pocket. Now, it doesn't really matter why you need a sponsor, but there are some things you need to think about when you approach a brand to sponsor you or your project. I've had some experience over the years with sponsored deals, and all my sponsored deals were product sponsored deals, but I've definitely had my share of nice deals that made sure that I always had the right equipment when I went on tour, and I received a lot of that equipment for free. So in my case, that was exactly what I needed, so I never needed to invest money to get new stuff. First thing, very important, keep this in mind at all times when you approach your brand. What can you do for them? Now, I know you're approaching a brand because you want something from them, but you need to turn that around and realize that you have to sell to them why you can be useful to them. It has to make sense business-wise for them to invest in you. I'm just going to share with you how I approached brands, and I'm not saying that that is the only way to go or the right way to go, but that's the way I did it, and it worked for me. So I started. First of all, I knew what kind of brand I wanted to approach, and most of the time these were brands that I was already using. And I have to say that definitely helps out because you can already express your passion for that brand. You're already a user. That's not going to be your selling point, but it always helps if a brand knows that you actually like and use the brand. But don't be afraid to also approach brands that you've never worked with or never used before. But in my case, that's what I mostly did because that was the equipment that I wanted to use. I would start with that email, and after that I would follow up with a phone call, and some might say that you have to do it the other way around. Start with a phone call and then an email. I prefer it this way because in that email I made sure that I had all the crucial information that I had to get across, and I was afraid that I would start with the phone call. I would forget some of the info that might be the most useful. So I just started with that email, and after a couple of days followed up with a phone call. Start with an introduction. Of course, they need to know who is approaching them, and don't make this long. Make sure that you mention what's important. So don't put a whole biography in there. They're not going to read that. It's not interesting. So I would just tell them, hey, I'm djTLM from Amsterdam. I'm a club DJ, mixtape DJ. I have this radio show on the biggest urban radio station over here. I'm a co-presenter on MTV with a TV show. And my trump card was always that I was the DJ for Brainpower, still am. We've been doing live shows for 17 years now, and Brain has been a big name here for years now, so everyone knew his name. So even if they don't know my name, if I mention his name, that's already a little bit of extra credibility when it comes to selling how I can be useful to that brand. Now, of course, I know a lot of you might not be working with someone who has more name than you, but if you are affiliated to someone that is bigger, it can be useful to put that name in there, but you don't have to, but I did. After that short introduction where I'm already telling them exactly what I do, so that's already sharing some of the worth that I could have for them, I would follow up with letting them know what I'm working on right now. And most of the times when I approached the brand for sponsoring, it was for a special project like an upcoming tour, some video shoots that I had coming up, stuff like that. So I would tell them right now I'm working on this. I'm about to go on tour with Brainpower. We're doing 80 shows, and I have 2 mixtapes that I'm dropping in the next couple of months, and I'm going to be in 4 music videos. So I would let them know in that little portion right there, this is some of the exposure that you can expect from me. I'm going on a tour, I'm doing a lot of shows, and that's interesting info. So if you have stuff planned, that's going to help if you mention that. After I told them that, I would let them know, all right, this is what I can do for you guys. This is what I need. I want to do this tour, and I want to use one of your DJ sets. I've been using that brand for so many years, and that's the set I want to use. So maybe we can help each other out. If you have statistics, because I was talking about 10-15 years ago, and most of the brands that I approached then I'm still working with right now. But if you're approaching brands right now, there's other info that can be very useful. Social media. Make sure you mention your following. So mention your following on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Even if it's not like thousands and thousands of followers, still you need to mention that, because it gives them a better idea of your reach. And it's not always about having the most followers, not to every brand at least. Of course, you really need to keep in mind, if you are still a beginning DJ, you haven't done a lot, you don't have a lot planned, it's probably not really gonna work if you approach some of the biggest brands and ask them for a new DJ set. Because you can understand, business-wise, it does not make sense to invest in someone like you yet. So you probably have to pay your dues for a little while longer. Make sure you build a nice track record, because that's your selling point also. If they can tell that you have a bit of a name, and come with a plan. Let them know what you have coming up. And if you don't have anything coming up, how can you offer them exposure? It makes sense. You have to be able to give them something. Go with stuff that works with your image if you feel that image is important. So you need to figure out what makes sense to you. Some of you might be, I don't care what it is, I'll go with anything. I'll let a dildo company sponsor me if they have money. That's up to you. You have to decide that for yourself. But for me, image is important, and I would always choose brands that work with me, that would make sense. So if people see it, they could understand the collabo straight away. That's just a couple of tips right now. This by no means is a how to get a sponsor video, because I'm no expert. I'm just telling you what I did, and it definitely worked out for me. But once again, I have to add, I did have a good name, a substantial track record, and I always came with a good plan filled with tours, videos, and stuff like that. And most of the times that would help me secure a deal and get some gear. I hope this helps you out. I'm willing to do more videos about this, so if you have any questions, just send me those questions, djTLMtv at djTLM.com. Maybe I'll even think about doing a special tutorial video. If you enjoy this info, click that thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I will be back very soon. Peace out.